Play you this clip of Hakeem Jeffries, minority leader of the House of Representatives, had been the majority leader of the House of Representatives, or maybe he's just been the minority. I can't. Who owned the House before this past election? I thought the Republicans owned the Senate and the Democrats had. Anyway, he's a player in Democrat politics, a major player. You know, one of the top 2 or 3 most powerful people in the Democrat Party. He was asked yesterday about Stephen A. Smith as a presidential candidate. What should we make of this answer?
2028 is way off in the distance. House Democrats are engaged in an hour-by-hour, day-to-day, week-to-week struggle on behalf of the American people in the context of the first 100 days and beyond.
Do you think
There's a lot to like about Stephen A. Smith, including the fact that we are both diehard Knicks fans.
So the first part of that question was the woman was asking about Stephen A. Smith as a presidential candidate. That was his answer. What should we make of it?
My response would be, please, as a conservative Republican, please let this be. Pretty please, with some sweet and low on top. This would be great for America. But to be serious about this, and I was serious, but bring a little brevity to the situation. These are not serious people. This is not a serious political party. And Hakeem Jeffries, if I'm not mistaken, he's the guy who's infamous, I guess. I think at the Congress or House, whatever. I think on Biggie Small's birthday, he did like a tribute to him where he brought like some big poster and he started playing a song and started to explain the importance of Biggie Small. And all these old white folks are trying to pretend like they can. Like, oh my God. Really? Here's my suggestion. Not only should Stephen A. Smith run for president under the Democratic Party, I believe, since we want inclusion, this is what we want. We want to break glass ceilings again. Jazzy Jazz Crockett should be the running mate. Please, please do that. Please.
Steve, we're sitting here giggling and laughing, and I go back to be careful what you wish for. I really do. We sit there and think, oh, he has no chance. This would be great. And I would say, hey, man, most of America locked itself in its home in 2020 over a bad case of the flu. And people would walk into restaurants with masks on. They'd walk in with a mask on and then sit down at the table and take the mask off. Because it's the walk through the restaurant with the mask. That protects people. When you actually sit down and eat, now you're not contagious. And so the Democrats are sitting there saying, hey, man, we had Kamala Harris within inches of the White House. We convinced America, or a segment of America, that 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. A corpse, weekend at Bernie's. You think with Bob Iger and Disney backing us that we can't get Stephen A. Smith out there? Stephen A. Smith, you got conservative influencers and political media people. They all help sell the Stephen A. Smith myth. When I get online, I want to know that I'm safe. That's why I love ExpressVPN. They keep my personal information more private and secure. Find out how you can get 4 months free just by clicking the link in the description box below or by going to expressvpn.com/fearless. Protect your online privacy with ExpressVPN. So I think we should be careful what we wish for and what we laugh at. I think there's plenty of evidence that they can convince a big segment of America. And again, the conservative people will say, well, I didn't go along with it. Are you sure? You know, conservative people are sending their kids off to colleges that convince them that men can get pregnant. And the kids start talking that way. And so I just, well, if you're a evangelical conservative that spends money sending your kids to college so all of that Christianity gets erased from them, if you're that kind of crazy, there's enough conservative evangelicals that are crazy enough to think Stephen A. Smith is some kind of centrist who can bring us all together.
He is till you actually examine what he's saying. And then once he becomes more than just a novelty, a sports guy that hops on a Bill Maher and says the most obvious things in hindsight, like Kamala was a bad candidate. That's, I was thinking about what I said yesterday, Jason, thinking about this, and I'm going to make this analogy. Think about a football pundit or a gambler who tells you for 2 weeks during the bye week leading into the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are a great team. They have all the advantages over Philadelphia. They're the better team. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl happens. And on that Monday, oh my God, the Eagles were just so much better. The Eagles were just better in every department, and the Chiefs were flawed. No one would say, wow, that's a football genius. That's like Paul Zimmerman. That's essentially what Stephen A. did. Go back through some of his podcasts during the summer. He said, I'm anti-Trump. I don't like Trump. I'm not going to vote for Trump. Now, Kamala, there's my girl. Okay, so wait a minute. Why is he given credit for being insightful when during the previous 5 months leading into November 5th, he was saying everything the opposite? Jason, you know how intelligent I look after every football game? I've never gotten one wrong if I can make predictions after the game. And the fact that he did not have enough guts to say, no, I kind of like Trump. I don't care what you say. Now we're talking about a guy with a little bit of character and integrity. And the fact that he's already saying, if you're with the LGBTQA, I am with you, go ahead. All right, so that's your position, right? Because that position, Jason, right there, just that one thing already runs counter to much of mainstream America.
I hear you, but I've seen mainstream America fold up and oh God, I don't want to be called racist.
We are
I don't want to be called a coon or we're cowards. And again, people are afraid to challenge Stephen A. on his obvious lies, his lack of positions, just like, and you got people out here selling.
Well, now hold on.
I think there's
Jason,
a chance.
He gets on these panel shows where, okay, that's different though. What about on an actual debate stage when the knives come out? Okay, what about when you see what Tulsi Gabbard did to Kamala about 5 years ago? Literally ended her campaign in 2019. It is one thing to treat somebody and say, oh my God, this guy's pretty articulate. For a sports guy, he kind of is not all that dumb. That's one thing. I get it. You're getting an A+ in a remedial class. Come to AP and honors, and when you have to start defending and explaining your policy positions, and what do they say about politics? It is a blood sport. Let it be.
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.